We're good.
Ben, can you hear us okay?
I can, yeah, the audio just kicked in.
Okay, good deal. Great. Okay, great. I'm going to call the Community Development Authority to order. It's December 11th at 5:31 p.m. Could I have a roll call? Cole. Present. Lori.
Present.
Sandoval. Here. Crow.
Here.
Nelson. Here. Wakely. And Oaks. Wakely and Oaks are absent.
Okay.
All other members are present.
How far down do you want me to go? Just to,
We could do the minutes really quick and then we'll.
yeah. Approval of the minutes from October 20th. Does anyone have any amendments or questions on the agenda? Hearing none, the minutes will stand as approved.
I'll call the Workforce Housing Committee to order. November 11th, 5:32, and we'll do a roll call.
Wolf, here. Pickle,
Here.
Roden.
Here.
Bruce,
Here.
Panero,
Here.
and Schwartz and Dwaho are excused, and Larson is a little bit late. Should be here in a minute.
All right. And any objections to the minutes that we have?
Do I have to introduce each of these or each side, or how do we want to do these?
I guess I can just jump right into the big agenda item today for the Affordable Housing Action Plan and timeline. So as you've all seen in your packets, we have a draft of the Affordable Housing Plan. The main task that we want to complete today is going to be different strategies and proposed for recommended programs and assigning some level of prioritization to them within the plan. We were talking about this earlier, and rather than maybe a high, medium, and low for these, it might make more sense to frame it in terms of for accomplishment, similar to the comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan, things that are within the next 3 years, things that are 3 to 7 years, things that are 7 to 10 years. So that would be one way that we could go about, prioritizing different programs, recognizing that, we want to be realistic about what can get accomplished in that amount of time. In addition to that, we'll want to talk today a bit about the public input process and recommend circulation to the Plan Commission and Sustainability Committee, as well as next steps for preparing a presentation for council in January. So with that, I will stop talking and let you all dive into it.
Scott, before we get started on that, I just wanted to think a little bit about how we prioritize them. I think your suggestion is really good because some items are long lasting. We can't necessarily assume to have them done in a short period of time. But don't we still need to prioritize even long range or medium range or whatever? Don't we need to still prioritize those? Some that might take, 1 to 3 years, say, might be more important than others, or are we just saying, hey, the 1 to 3 year ones, we want to tackle all those right away?
Yeah, I guess the way I would interpret it is if we list the one as having in years 1 to 3, those are the ones that we want to tackle right away. And I think to address your question, we would want to make sure that we only list a certain number of those as year 1 to 3.
Yep.
Just so that we're trying to be reasonable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're kind of saying we need like a importance score alongside the urgency score.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I think if what he's saying is we rank, you know, 3 or 4 things as 1 to 3 year range, those automatic things that we should be able to tackle maybe.
Yeah. For all of these items, are they all things that we would say are important and what we would want council to approve and for us collectively to work on? Like, did we, or would we put that importance on there in case, like, which ones might get cut? Because the plan, as I kind of read it, was these are all the things that we should do. So then it's that those are all the important ones. If it wasn't important, we didn't put it on here. Like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we could have been here, but we didn't.
We could sort of align things with the roadmap that's on the page following these lists, because there's a roadmap for year 1 that says, establish affordable housing fund, hire staff,
Yep.
request proposals, and a lot of the topics above kind of fall under request proposals or fund support services, things like that.
I like that idea. I mean, that's why the roadmap slide is here.
Because some things sort of have to happen before another can start.
Correctly, the ones that were on that roadmap, and I took this into a Word doc that's on my other computer.
I have it open
Oh.
here and can edit it too.
Okay, great. But just for clarity, I think it was these two are both listed there.
That one,
This one.
the first and strategy 3.
Well, and as year 1 implementation gets started, staff and we may identify strategies that we don't want to pursue or end up not being feasible, or so some of those longer term, bigger strategies, we'll have with the RFP process have to identify, through that agreement process, identify scope. And so some of the strategies may fall out of scope. Yeah, it's a plan. It's a strategic plan. It's not a work plan, right?
I think all of them in strategy 3 are in that 1 to 3 bucket as well. Or at least to start the funding of the housing rehab stuff.
Kind of feel like we could probably put all of them in year 1 to 3, but it helps to think about year 1 first. And year 2,
Yeah.
actually get more granular.
Sure.
Because again, I'm going back to Kelly's suggestion with look at the roadmap, and I do think, hiring staff, that's that's job number 1.
But is that a strategy? Do we have?
So that was organized into the bucket above here where it was the
Yeah.
process for establishing the fund.
Yeah.
I would put it at 3. I think having staff first and work on the changes to the municipal code to merge to CDA and workforce housing, I think that can wait until after we get a staff person.
Yeah, so I think having these pulled out as the process means that they have to happen. And it's not just our strategy, but these are the things that in order to do any of the strategies, we have to have those in place. Or it's a non-starter.
realistic is it to have an RFP process occur in year one? Assuming year one is, May or April of the next year.
I think it's feasible. There's other communities that have done them, so we would need to put some time into editing, the Middleton specific version of an RFP. The benefit of doing something like LIHTC or existing nonprofits is there's already, examples of programs that we can use out there from other communities.
Okay.
So the one qualification I would add there is it would depend on the timing within the LIHTC funding cycle that we want to hit. So it could be year one plus or minus a couple months based on that timeline. But I think that's a feasible goal for year one.
Well, and is year one really that hard and fast? Or is that just like, hey, this is priority one. We would like to get it done year one, but if it's year one and it turns into 18 months,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of anal about things. I'm sorry. If it says the roadmap for year one, I'm like,
We love you for it.
it should either be the roadmap for year one or something else. Roadmap to success or something like that. I don't know.
May take a detour to Abilene.
Left at Albuquerque. And in the strategy 1A, I wonder, do we need to specify, I don't see multifamily in here. So the RFP process, work with developers who have a documented record.
LIHTC is a multifamily program. I could.
Can we drop that in just to make
Yeah.
it clear that?
Yep, that's good. And that's helpful throughout for folks that whether it's in the meeting tonight or if you follow up with an email about parts of the plan that, seem a bit jargony or hard to tell. Sometimes we've talked about this quite a bit. So
The second one on there doesn't exclude multifamily stuff either. It's just owner occupied. We just know that condos are never
Yeah.
built.
On the roadmap slide, item 7 is fund support services, so it doesn't really distinguish between the first two items under strategy 2. So should the first row in strategy 2 be year one as well?
I understood that.
You say that again, Ben?
Sure. So on the roadmap slide, 7 says fund support services. So that really doesn't distinguish between the first two items under strategy 2. It really kind of seems to encompass both.
Mm-hmm.
So should those both be year one?
Those are kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I guess is a difference in those who the money's going to, right? The first one's going to the developers, the second's to the organizations.
yeah, the main difference between those is this one down here is more along the lines of just ongoing, consistent funding source for support services, and this one is more tied to when a new development goes in.
For development. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Support services that are paired with that particular.
gotcha. So I would nominate that one still as year one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of things that we could do almost immediately to kind of, a lot of these we have to work with developers and things, but as far as providing funding to Way Forward, that could happen as soon as funds can be released, and that could kind of ease some of the stress on housing in Middleton while we figure out.
I already see 5 items up there for year one. And, I don't know how long this plan is supposed to stretch out, but I don't want to, I want to make sure that we're realistic in what we can get accomplished. If this is really what we're saying is year one.
My perspective, I think 1B is gonna be a challenge to complete that in year one.
Mhm.
Because we need land, which we have very limited land. And owner occupied is just always a lot of.
Mhm.
So maybe that could be, I'm thinking ahead to when Westport, and when we annex land from Westport, maybe that should be year 3 to give that time to.
B and D.
That's a really good suggestion where there's more land that might become available.
The 1D, kind of the opportunistic.
Yeah, that should be
Anytime.
like an ongoing
Yeah.
thing. Needs to be on the. Out.
The proposal to do the land bank or just for the city to retain ownership?
Yeah, I think it's more of, I'm not reading land bank as establishing an entity so much as just buying land as it becomes available.
But then is the city then continue to maintain ownership of the property and the future housing, or is it we turn it over to a developer, we sell that land to the
Through the
developer?
RFP processes.
That's the model that was written up in the plan is
Yeah.
that form, so.
So maybe
Oh,
we
yeah.
should change it from land bank, because land bank does sound kind of like thing instead of an activity. Maybe just strategy 1B, the subheading on page 15 of the document could be land acquisition. Going back to Randy's comment, I really like that because I'm thinking of like all the activities per person in their first year on the job. And I guess that raises a question, to what extent will, Scott, you and Daphne and Abby devote any time to any of this? Because if you can't, just won't be, we do need to think in terms of what can one person realistically do, even with help from us, as CDA or workforce housing or emerged group. What can one person realistically do in a year?
Yeah, and I think we all work together on like everything that we do a little bit, but we definitely can devote some resources. I think we came up with the call out box that talks about the different staff resources that are needed and thought that for the low, medium, those are things that we can do with current staff. And so I think we can devote and contribute to, getting some of these things done, maybe even before we have somebody hired.
Casey, you brought up a good point at the last meeting of how many of the mediums that we think we could do. This whole one of those things that we'll find out once we get into the thick of it, but our guess is probably about 2 of the mediums in the first year, and then after that reevaluating to see how many more mediums we can take on an ongoing basis, especially once we have a template that we're comfortable with. That's the hardest part, and then a lot of it is the meetings and reviews and that sort of thing that are evergreen, but they get easier as you go through it over time.
And I think under strategy 3, but if you're one, right now, I think that one makes sense because it's a medium, that could be one of the medium activities. And we already have a relationship with the Energy Navigator program, and then tapping the other programs could benefit from what we already do with efficiency. But fixing up, I love the idea of fixing up naturally occurring affordable housing by offering grants, but developing a grant program seems like a big lift for someone to do, so that seems like,
The 3-year bucket for B and C.
yeah.
Yay. I agree with the first one being year one, given that it's
It's,
give
yeah,
money to
yeah, it's
establish programs.
continuing
Yeah.
something, yep.
Efficiency Navigator exists, it's just paying for them to continue to do that.
Are we taking year 2 off? I was just curious, kind of what we might think. What goes in between year 1 and year 3?
Year one left.
I like the idea of deciding what needs to be done first and what can wait,
Yeah.
like putting all the weight ones into 3, and then we can go back and be like, okay, which one's in 3?
Could we move forward? What's priority?
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking about it now.
Or should, like A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3. You know,
1, 2,
like
3,
one,
A,
whatever.
ABC. One thing we don't have in here, and maybe now isn't the time to consider it, but we should have it out on our radar. So the regional housing strategy positions were first cut from the county budget, and then they were put back in, or one was put back in with the contingency that the Olivia Perry needs to find the funding to pay for, I think, the whole thing, or maybe half of it.
I know she had raised 12,000, so I was under the impression that it was just the gap that she
Yeah.
had to.
So I didn't know, I haven't talked with Olivia about it, but I don't know if that's something that they're going to be asking municipalities to help fund, just because we need those. We were talking about how, oh, we can have the county do some of the stuff because they've got the staff to do some of these things and it would make sense to have it be a countywide thing instead of each municipality doing it. And then like that day, the executive announced her budget cuts.
And that, I feel like the county would be a great partner, especially for outreach and education.
Yes,
That really should
right.
be done.
I was just gonna ask the question on like the years and year 1, year 3. If we're putting a year 3 on it, does that, if it requires developing a grant program, and like, is that year 3? We're not thinking about that till year 3, or is like, because there has to be things that are developed to make that happen. So that's where I'm kind of like, which ones do we have to be thinking about, like putting the framework in place to be able to launch it? So kind of understanding what we're saying when we're saying year 1, year 3. That means
That's where 2 comes
It's a good
in.
question. Is it start or launch?
Oh yeah, start or launch.
Next later.
Right.
Oh. Or immediate, short term, longer term, or ongoing.
Then you're not wedded to a particular year,
Yeah.
till which time a work plan can be developed.
When I looked at this, I didn't establish, I didn't know how to do it. So I just went 1, 2, 3. So I just gave 1, 2, and 3. It's like, okay, this is the most priority, this, and didn't think about the timing at all. But I think the timing is important because we do have to look at that. But it's a lot easier if you just say, okay, these are the things we want to focus on. And then, next, after we get those accomplished, let's look at these things and so forth.
Can you share your 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I had all of strategy 2 as 1, all 3 of those as 1, and then I had the 1A as 1, and those were my 1s. So not a lot different, except for strategy 3, which makes sense. It's an easy one. So
It's like this, 1, 2, 3, and those is the
I
ones.
like that.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Let's pick some 2s.
So that would add this one to just year 1.
Cut
Uh,
that.
Yep, and then 3A.
that's correct. Yeah, and he's got this.
Sorry.
But we're getting rid of year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting rid of here.
Simple.
That's good. You can interpret that 1 to mean that.
Year 1 or
What are your 2s, Randy?
well, I don't know. My 2s are 1B and C. 3B and C.
One A is 2, one
Yes.
C is 2, but maybe 3. That one's 2, maybe 3. B is just 2.
What is RFQ?
So that's a great question. So an RFP is request for proposals. That's a pretty specific. Start with saying different people have different definitions for RFP versus RFQ, and but the way that we're talking about it here is RFP is a pretty defined program. Here are the parameters, here's the qualifications, here's what we're anticipating to get. RFQ is request for qualifications. That leaves it a little bit more open-ended for folks to propose creative ideas. So, hey, we have this project where we want to incorporate affordable housing in this way. We'd like you to evaluate it. The RFP is a little bit more apples to apples because it's a predictable program like the LIHTC program or other more established ones. The RFQ is more putting it out there for folks to propose creative things and try to be innovative with it.
Would the RFQ need to come first and then the RFPs follow, or is it like separate?
They look like separate approaches, right?
Yeah, they're proposed as separate approaches. So using the RFP for specifically the LIHTC program, just because that's a pretty known, it's pretty predictable.
Things that are already kind of in progress or partnerships you already have.
Yeah.
Slightly different spin on RFQ and RFP for how I would think of it. Like, if the city's gonna go out and purchase property, we could do an RFQ and we could ask a developer to tell us what they're going to build, how many units, approximately what the building is gonna look like, how much they're gonna pay us, how much of an incentive they need to close the gap, what the affordability levels are gonna be. But if we did an RFQ and we're just asking for qualifications, we might have 20 developers submit basically their resume, some example projects of what they've done. And we might say, okay, these 3 are our finalists from which we want to request a proposal for something more specific, but maybe you're not expecting them to go through the time and effort that's involved in developing a really specific proposal. You might just ask for their qualifications.
We already have some groups that we could go straight to RFP for.
Yes.
Ari, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Maybe it's me, but if I have the document up, but if you guys are able to share that screen again, it would be a little helpful for hopping around for where you're talking about it. Or is it currently shared and I'm not seeing it?
I can see it, Kari.
Oh, okay. My Zoom is updated.
Okay.
I'm on my work computer, and so I will experiment. Thank you.
If you pull up page 9 of the plan, that's the page that we're on right now.
Your 2's on the board.
I think Randy said
All of 3. All it's 3A, B, and C for 2s. I had as 2s.
but then you agreed with 1 for
What? 3A.
3A.
Yes.
Because that's on.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, that's right.
2.
Yeah, the other ones are 2. Oh, down. No. Oh, those down.
Those 2.
Those were. I put those as 3 just because because it seemed like those were going to take a while. That would be hard to do.
Yeah.
4B is the financing for the county to do.
Right, yeah, the county can do it. So maybe that's a 3/2. County is equal to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
2.5.
2 question mark?
Randy, what did you put on strategy 2C?
2C. I had a 1.
I had a 2 on that one using Randy's formula.
And I can agree with that too, because we have Sun Prairie as setting an example that we might be able to, follow and implement what they did because they established a tenant resource center satellite office.
I didn't know how much time that was going to take us, actually. I don't know. Yeah, it's either a 1 or a 2. I agree with that.
I like the idea of using the way forward in the senior center as a how quickly can we actually start dispensing money from the fund. So keeping it as a 1, I think, is a good way to say, like, this is our first check for can we do what we said we're going to do. I also have no idea if we have to do like an RFP to just give money to Way Forward doing the supportive housing work that they're doing.
Sorry, did we talk about the 2B or 2C?
2B.
Okay, I thought we were talking about 2C there. Sorry, that's one where I hit it. That one is a 2. Or yeah, 2C is a 2.
It could
And-
be a 2.
Ben, I understand. Yeah, that could easily be a 2.
This one?
Unless you're saying we like buy a day like Sun Prairie did. But again, that was like county partnership that is
Yeah,
questionable.
right. It 2 makes sense. Yeah. If,
Okay.
if it's relatively easy to say to the tenant resource center, hey, can you do with us what you did with Sun Prairie? Then it could be a 1. But if it's more involved than that, like, yeah, it should probably be a 2.
Okay. Any other suggestions?
I just want to say that I like the 2A and B being right away. I think that people getting to know what's going on and what's coming down the road for them as far as help is very important for us to get that going right away. That's going to really help everything progress. So, awesome.
Great. So the next big thing on the list is
Who's road showing it?
the way to put it.
All right. And it's to the other 2 committees and then the common council.
Yes. So look. So at the last, I believe it's the strategy and finance meeting, recommended going to council on January 20th, 26th for sustainability committee, 27th for plan commission. Seeking public input the week of February 9th. Then preparing for passage in April.
Should we have more than 1 week for public input?
And what does that look like?
Yeah, I think we wanted-
Let's talk about that.
We wanted to get some feedback from the committees on this. I don't, in the range of plans that the city works on, like comprehensive plan, extensive public engagement, a neighborhood or a corridor plan, that's extensive public engagement, even a park plan, what belongs in a neighborhood park, that's extensive. To me, it requires a little bit lower level of engagement. I definitely think we'd want to have a public meeting where we release the draft. We ask members of the public, maybe we could work with our communications manager to help get the word out. We might want to contact specifically the development community, anybody who has an active project, anybody who we know is involved with affordable housing, and we give everybody a chance to speak. That I think is a baseline level of what we should be doing, but I don't think that this is like the type of plan where we need to have multiple workshops and across the city. And yeah.
I also note that because the comprehensive plan has so much public engagement in it, and one thing that came out of that was the need for more affordable housing and doing things like this. Often that can, be a supplement for public engagement for, the follow-up actions to it. So this is in a way implementing the comprehensive plan and the feedback that we heard through that process.
If it's, I know the Middleton Chamber of Commerce has their Get Moving Middleton breakfast things. We're a sponsor, correct? City of Middleton. I wonder if we could get on their agenda for Thursday, the 5th of February, or the first Thursday of March. Because I think it's really important to get support from the business community, since it's, a lot of their employees are the people that we're trying to help make sure there's housing for.
They slot those out like 6 months in advance, but I actually am on the February 5th agenda already. So I could probably.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Did you have something else you were going to talk about, or?
They asked for an economic development update. So it's very general.
That sounds like affordable housing.
It does, yeah.
So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Is that also the same night as our CDA meeting, or no, actually our CDA meeting would be so
that could be another thing, is to when Workforce Housing has our meeting regularly on a Wednesday, could we have a 45-minute open house or something before that, and make a short presentation and get feedback from folks?
definitely do that. Your normal meeting would be Monday, February 16th. I'm wondering if we are going to do that, could that be what we're talking about at the chamber meeting, is like we just put a, invite up on the screen, and then that gives people enough time to get a link to look at the plan, like a QR code, and know about the meeting that would be happening then 11 days later. Give people time to either fit it into their calendar or provide us written comments that can be read into the record.
Yep. Okay. We could.
But maybe still you can kind of plug the plan and talk about, the benefits, what we're trying to get accomplished and so forth.
Definitely.
Try to build some support before they open up the plan.
That's the 16th.
That is the 16th. Do you all have President's Day as a holiday?
I don't think so.
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Monday the 16th.
Do you usually have the chamber?
What was that?
Do you usually have the council chambers for the meeting?
No, we're in this room, but
Do you want to have that? I mean, there's Parks meeting at 7.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wondering if we can just give Kylie the heads up. We could have Parks in here,
that
and
might be a good
you could have the public meeting out there.
Are you worried about having it that day because you think people will be off work?
I don't, in general, I don't like to hold meetings when the staff have a holiday, because you all should have a holiday, but if you don't have that as a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a holiday, and it wasn't circled on my calendar to
Yeah.
have it off. So
The alternative is we could also look at Thursday, February 12th, which is the normal CDA meeting.
Except the 12th is the chamber's
Oh,
sip, sample, and socialize thing,
That's
so if
right.
we want to
Yeah.
give them an opportunity, yeah.
that would be a bad conflict to be advertising to them at
Yes,
fundraiser. Yeah. Do that.
I'm sure Kylie doesn't mind. I'm going to just send her a little note to have it in the back of her mind.
Okay, cool. So Monday.
Do we want to nominate presenters, or do people want to volunteer?
you're looking for volunteers or voluntold?
Yeah, I think that education and outreach subcommittee is going to be voluntold, and then if no one else wants to be, figure it out and come up with a presentation.
Sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other subcommittee, we'll just sit back and strategize some
Yeah.
more.
Anything else that you want for that plan? So then, do we have a January meeting that we could like come up with I mean, we have the beautiful deck.
We have the document.
Yeah, yeah.
Normal January meeting would fall on March 13th.
How about the CDA on the 15th, would it be?
Actually be the 8th because the Thursdays are coming early in January.
Ah,
We got we got 3 options. With the subcommittee meeting date, which is Wednesday.
oh yeah, what happens with our subcommittees?
We were gonna ask you about that as
Hello.
well.
Well, do we want to have another joint meeting on the day that CDA would normally meet so that we can,
Well,
on the 8th, I think Abby said it would
oh,
be.
January?
Yeah, so that we can, you know, you all can preview your talking points or whatever and then if there's additional business that CDA needs to conduct, we just adjourn and let CDA continue.
Okay.
Is January 8th doable for the subcommittee to get a presentation together? Because it is kind of early in the month.
Sure.
Let's do it.
I can send you our city slide deck, like template that are.
All right.
Abby, do you know how much time will be on the council agenda for a presentation? Because that would help too, to know how much time you have to speak.
I would think 15 minutes. Do you think that's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then time for Q&A.
Okay, should we review the bewildering array of dates that we just hammered through? So the next one is going to be January 8th, is going to be a joint CDA and workforce housing meeting where we will preview the 15-minute presentation that we will use at the subsequent meetings that will occur on January 20th, on the 26th, on the 27th, and then probably what we'll reuse again sometime on the week of February 9th. And then we are also meeting with the Chamber of Commerce on February 5th and stealing at your thunder on economics.
And now, but the Sustainability and Plan Commission review, do we need to task the subcommittee with presenting, or can that just be like, here's the plan? Because I don't want you all to have to hit all these meetings. Randy and I are on the Plan Commission.
I think from the plan commission's perspective, if they get the packet, they review the packet, they'll be there to answer questions or
Yeah, that'll work.
that would be fine. I don't know about sustainability.
Sustainability, I was planning to attend that one anyways, just to have there might be some more specific questions that come up there related to Energy Navigator or the LIHTC program has specific requirements for sustainability that are talked about here. So if there are questions about that, I can plan to be there anyways to present that. So happy to either play a supporting role or see the presentation on the 20th so I could carry that along if folks aren't available.
So there's that flexibility for the subcommittee members, so you don't have to shoulder the entire burden.
I'm happy to join as well.
Yeah, sustainability is Zoom, right?
Sweet.
Now Plan Commission is hybrid.
And you two will cover.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
And then do we need to decide the public input now? Like if we want to schedule a meeting session?
Yeah, we should. Might as well.
Okay. What is it that we want to do for the public input?
Well, we picked February 16th to have this open,
Okay.
prior to first housing committee meeting.
But it's gonna be, I assume that we're also gonna just get it out on the web, city web, and advertise it in some fashion or other. Is that right after the council gets it? When will that happen?
Probably after that.
Yep, yep.
27th.
After the
plan
27th,
review,
yeah.
Do cram session and rewrite whatever we need to from those meetings, and then
Yep, that rapid response writing team.
who's on that?
I was just gonna ask, is that subcommittee or do you need more of us helping?
We were going
So
to
probably
pick
Yeah,
people
we
to do
Scott.
that if we felt like we needed it. But I think it's a good idea to have that team ready to rapidly respond.
Daphne for sure.
I'm happy to help.
So basically, it's who's gonna join with Abby, Daphne, and Scott.
I almost wonder if like after the council presentation, and assuming like the city council doesn't have any major red flags or concerns, we would immediately start advertising the open house event because that would only be January 20th to February 16th.
Yep.
Not that much time.
Great. That's a good idea. And at that open house, we can share anything that came out of sustainability with the planning commission.
And then wait to incorporate all feedback together, so you're not rewriting it
Yeah.
5 times.
Love it.
And when do we close out public comment? We have the open house on the 16th, February 16th. And then I assume that we're also going to have some sort of open period for people to respond electronically.
Is that a requirement?
It's not.
So it's optional, and so we, the set number of days.
There's no public hearing.
Yeah, there's,
Nice to have.
yeah, this is an internal process, not one that has any statutes attached to
Well,
it,
we
so.
could do it the whole month of February.
Mm-hmm.
And then the March 16th, we're fine. Affordable Housing Action Plan. Is that just like anything else that came up from February? Recover and then get it passed in April.
Or is that the date by which it has to be refined in order to get it to the council meeting in the early April?
I think that's what
Okay.
a specific date was.
Got it.
So do we have enough time? I guess that just we want to make sure we have enough time to make whatever edits are necessary after public comment come in, after council meeting, so forth. That we get it all wrapped up by the 16th.
And for the council meeting in April, it's got to be the one on the 7th, right? Because our closure resolution has to be dated prior to the 15th.
So for public comment, are we just telling people to email us? Is it all written or are we gonna have a in-person component?
I think we'll do the first 30 minutes of the Workforce Housing Committee, and we'll do the short presentation, have people ask questions, and then that's probably it.
Yep.
Would we do any presentation at the open house, or is that just like?
I think so, depending on how that council presentation goes, we either do the same.
Because I mean, it's a different audience, but we could revamp like the council presentation slightly to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how formal is the Q&A? Are people allowed to ask questions 10, 20 times or like, I just don't know how formal you want it to be. Do they come to the microphone and they get 3 minutes or is it just a more informal process? We have already received some feedback, kind of on behalf of the development community. And, you know, this could be something where we have residents, but we also have real estate developers. We also have You know, Smart Growth, Madison, we are sure that they'll be involved. So I just am wondering if it should be a little bit more formalized than just like an open Q&A.
What about public comment, 3 minutes, just like people are accustomed to? But then I think for the presentation, and I like the idea of letting people ask questions. And if that means they have to write out like a little question card that the staff then,
I like the cards at that library thing they did.
Yeah, comment card.
I like cards for questions because I know in my career, there were a lot of people did not want to get up in front of a crowd and ask a question, and they had really good questions, but they were just, uncomfortable. And that way you kind of level the playing field for everybody by collecting written questions.
Like this guy. This is the one we have for the community campus.
Yep.
That's fun.
I liked those public sessions that we had for the zoning ordinance,
Mhm.
where there were the poster boards, there was the brief presentation, staff were available to take questions. I don't know, that seemed
Mhm.
like probably too much work to do, because there was a lot of visuals, but
And we even had like a comment box. We had like a
Yeah.
little box people could drop their comments and questions. The community campus, we're also having them check if they want us to reach back out. So yeah, just
I would say poster boards probably wouldn't take a terribly long amount of time because we already have some of these laid out in a way that translate to that. The pro of that is you don't have to, line up people in front of a microphone 3 minutes each. It's more of a natural, you can ask questions at your own pace and kind of bop around the room a little bit.
and folks were communicating with each other, residents were communicating with each other, and that brought up some questions for them, and then staff could answer them.
mhm.
So it felt nicely organic, and if we're not required to have a formal public hearing, could we do something that is more approachable for the community? I know, right, developers, we can also, like, to address their concerns, we could just strongly encourage written public comment. Because that would be the best way for us to receive their.
I mean, were you concerned that certain parties would overtake the comment period or the public input period?
I was just thinking like we were kind of trying to brainstorm on who might come. And I was thinking like if there's a resident who's really worried that affordable housing is going to be built near them, they might come in and they might have a lot of different comments and grievances.
Feelings.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that everybody who attends gets a chance to provide remarks. I don't know if it's a scenario where we would have one or two people try to dominate the room, but we want to try to avoid that.
We need to give some thought to who, I mean, our target audience, of course, is like all of Middleton, but just thinking in terms of affordable housing, who are the people that throughout this whole process, we've been hoping to get the housing available for? And how do we reach those folks?
I think maybe we move it to a more, I don't want to sound biased, but to Lakeview, right? Like, because when we are focused on the highest concentration of our rental market, are most naturally affordable occurring housing, but people are starting to get priced out because of market forces. The community that desperately wants paths to, whether that's home ownership or housing stability. So bring it to them.
I like
Like
that.
that, yeah, that's a
That's a
great
good suggestion.
They got a fireplace too.
Well, and then that makes me think also about seniors, because Lakeview would not be the most senior friendly just because you gotta walk that long distance. So can we do a session somewhere that's accessible for those folks, like maybe the senior center?
Senior center would be.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if we get if we did have a poster board presentation, maybe we could at least get the poster boards over to the senior center and have them up and available for a period of time. People could look at them. We could have a drop box there
Yeah,
for
I like that.
input.
One thing we talked about in some of the early meetings was, like teachers.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's how specifically we want to target them, but do we want to work with the district at all of
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
what their
Yeah.
teachers need?
Well, sock sale right there. Right.
That is on page 24.
But I think then that's about our outreach to invite them and support service programs.
Okay, yeah.
So that's more about the outreach and who's on that mailing list.
I don't know the school schedule at all, but do they have like family nights or anything the poster boards could there? For both the teachers and families?
I know there's like a 4K night.
I mean, there would be like parent-teacher conferences in March, probably, but
Right. They typically do parent-teacher conferences now as more town hall types where they do them like in the gym or whatnot. So you could put something up there.
They have a safety night coming up.
I think it was last night.
Oh.
Could we split the month of February for the poster boards between 2 weeks at the senior center and 2 weeks at the library?
Yeah.
We'll have to check with both and make sure that they have space.
Just different groups. There's gonna be crossover, but
Or even just like a nicely printed off version of the plan that can sit in a binder that's in a spot that
Mhm.
if folks are interested, they can peruse it at their own
It's all
speed.
at the library. Yeah, they got that little section up front.
Yeah.
Are there other topics or things that you want to talk about? Maybe we need to say formally what we're going to do for the comment period. I think we need to pick which pages on here we want as poster boards and then anything else.
I was gonna rely on staff to
Pick the best
pick
poster
the
boards.
poster boards and the scenario that they thought would tell the story. But I don't know, do you guys need some help with that?
I can take a crack at it, and then Alan, sounds like you're going to be spearheading the presentation, so we can make sure that we're
There you
highlighting
go.
the same things and that.
Do you want to click off for a second, Scott? See if this looks right. I think these are really bad colors, so I'm hoping this light orange is going to show up on the screen. Oh boy. Okay. Let me make this huge.
Or,
Oh, is this the timeline updated?
Okay.
all right, so January 8th.
Okay, going back up. Yeah. The joint meeting.
Perfect.
Finalize the slide deck.
Rough draft of the show.
Yep.
20th, the show. Rewrite. Kickoff advertising the open house event. Then Scott and I'll do sustainability and committee. Randy and Lisa will do plan. Daphne, Scott, and Abby, and anybody else who wants to rewrite will rewrite. And then public comment is splitting poster boards between Middleton Public Library and the Senior Center. And for,
I liked the idea of having the binder, so then you can have multiple,
yeah,
right? So
just interject one quick question. After staff incorporates the input, would you like us to run it by maybe the subcommittee chairs? Just as a final check before it goes public? Does that sound like a good process?
Yeah, at least just to ensure that nothing is sort of off base from all the conversation and discussion that we had before. Or I could see that someone suggests an idea that we've actually taken out because we didn't think there was feasibility, so.
Thinking of who to reach out to. I wonder if we should reach out to the VFW because veterans are part of the,
It's such a good idea.
just like an invitation to, an ask to spread the word among their members.
Sorry to interrupt, folks. Just apologize. They do need to go to another event. So, but
Hi, Ben.
great work on
Ben.
all this. Thanks.
Actually, probably VFW might not be, I mean, yes, that would be a good one, but there's the County Veteran Service Organization, DAV.
Mhm.
I can get all the,
Yeah, that would be good.
With the number of groups, it might be nice we can have a template email that can go out to different folks. And I think the outreach plan will have some other ideas for folks that we could incorporate into that. Have the online comment form as a link to that. So they can read the plan, online comment form, and then we make sure that all the groups get the email. That would be a nice consistent way to get the feedback from everybody, I think.
are there other housing? Maybe the Tenants Resource Center? Trying to think of other housing rights or how affordable housing organizations beyond just smart growth.
We could just have the regional housing strategy
That's true.
newsletter. I think that would capture anybody in the area that
Yeah.
That's
is
good.
interested.
They're a stakeholder, yeah.
Yeah. That could be included in there.
Good idea.
An obvious way forward, any other support services.
And there's one gal at the school district. She presented at the library, but forget her name.
I know what you're talking about, so I can look up the content.
Like, hey, this is what we want to do. Do you want us to show up at your stuff?
Latino community.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to think about.
Central, should we include them?
The housing
Yes.
strategy list is gonna capture
Yeah.
so many of our targets.
good.
Yeah. It's pretty widely disseminated. Do we ever reach out to like our religious institutions? I mean, because they often run pantries and are those leaders ever connected with?
There was a former pastor who was very involved with housing. He retired. So I don't think we've worked with any.
Sometimes they
We
have to
could.
have vouchers for like hotels or gas or so they.
Doesn't St. Luke's have a
Pantry.
They have a pantry, they have clothing, stuff like that. I don't know.
Maybe if people think other ones will email them to the group and go from there.
Well, and you all might see, you might be able to find out who's on the Dane County newsletter list, and that might cross off a bunch of the specific feeds. Yeah, you are going to change these colors so we don't have to think about the Vikings, right?
I'm so sorry.
Wants to be a winning plan.
Yes, there you go.
Keep going. February 5th, we want to have the Chamber of Commerce one, or is that a
Yes.
side note?
We
Okay.
should add that.
And then you said the 16th was gonna be what date in February was that?
16th, February 16th would
Yeah.
be the open house.
Yeah.
And we pivoted to short presentation, boards and binders, and several of us there to answer questions and a comment box.
Are we having more than one open house, or are we just having one? We're having one at the senior center and one at Lakeview Park.
I think that would be appropriate. And if we can get, I don't know how far in advance the senior center does their newsletter, but it might be good to find a date and get it in the newsletter.
And potentially we'll know once we start telling people about the open house.
Yeah.
If they're like, hey, we'd be
Right.
like open. See.
Just flagging that the 16th is President's Day. That might not be a city holiday, but our federal friends. It's also Holy Week and Lunar New Year is the 17th. So
Don't move it to the
Yeah.
17th. Definitely.
oh yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah,
Bring cake.
house on.
Bring cake.
What about doing it on the 19th?
That's Monday, Thursday.
Okay.
Need a better day.
Oh, so no on the 16th?
All right, I'm just
No.
President's Day may not be week that early.
Well,
Am I looking at the wrong?
would we be ready by the 9th?
Oh, sorry, it's not Holy Week, it's Ash Wednesday that Wednesday. So it is when it starts. See the 18th. So we already did that.
It's probably our last good.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
just
As long as
thought,
it's
but-
not it's not a city holiday, right?
No.
And just one idea, I know the senior center sees the most traffic during the daytime, so we can ask them, but potentially we could just stack them both on the same day where we have a daytime at the senior center where
Oh, yeah.
they're expecting most folks to be there anyways. Afternoon and we park and then take a nice long nap that night.
When is the senior center's Valentine's Day party? That's like one of their biggest events. I don't know if it's the 13th or if it would be the 16th because Valentine's Day is on again. I probably have that because we had a big coordination we'll need to avoid that.
You'd think they would have it before actual Valentine's
Yeah, you would
Day.
think, yeah.
It looks like it's the 13th from 2 to
Okay.
3:30.
We're good. Thank you.
The Friday before, that makes sense.
All right, so now our hurdle is seeing if Lakeview Park is available, but I feel like February on a weeknight, we're gonna have a pretty good chance of being able to get it.
Well, and then also getting Tammy to get this on the calendar and in the newsletter, because that, I don't know how, like I said, their production process might be pretty far out.
And would we be okay with doing it here if that Lakeview is not available?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, is Lakeview not gonna be available on a Monday in winter? Maybe not, I don't know.
We gotta
It's
fire.
it's hard to get a shelter. It's really hard to get a shelter, but if it's a weeknight and it's in the winter, it's probably fine. I'll find out.
It looks like there's Zumba until 6:30 at Lakeview Park.
They usually book those for the whole day. They don't like have
Hmm.
something that happens in the morning and something like.
Is there space for this presentation to be happening while Zumba's happening? No.
Not in the winter.
Zumba can be an outdoor thing though, right?
They can't still horse green.
Gather around the fireplace. That's
We'll just beg them to.
No, we should be outside.
Like,
The
cancel
comment
for the
period is
week.
real short.
Yes, there.
So we can shop around locations and specific dates and, but knowing that we're targeting that February
Yeah.
timeline,
Yeah.
works good. Abby, do we need a motion of any sort to recommend circulation of different committees or just good as is?
Let's see, we have another meeting on the 8th. Before it gets circulated.
Okay.
So we could have a motion, but we can also wait and do it.
I'll just make a motion. Does everybody approve of the dates and plan as we've written it here and discussed?
I'll second the motion for workforce housing.
Do we have a motion for CDA?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor for CDA, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
All right, workforce housing, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yay, double council endorsement of the written plan. What else we got? Otherwise, we're getting out before 7. We're doing it, guys.
That's
Anything
perfect.
else to do with cross?
Exciting.
When I opened up this document, I was impossibly excited. I
I
was
know.
like so tickled by the work that we've all done on this, that it's like really cool to see it concretely, like this is what we want to do. It felt really good.
Yeah, from where we started, it was sort of like, yeah, it seemed enormous
Yeah.
but like, well, first, huge thanks to Lisa for putting so much pen to paper initially, and then staff for really,
Yeah.
really filling it out and just like the exceptional quality that you always do for your written
Yep.
documents and yeah, so excellent work.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I think you have to officially adjourn. We don't need a motion.
Workforce housing.
CDA stands adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Holidays. Daphne, nice seeing you.
Daphne's still employed with the city.
Yes, we're just making her